What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to another video. Okay, now that we've got the LARP out of the way, The Last of Us. Let me give you a bit of backstory on my history real quick. So, I started out on the DS and the Wii, but after that, the PS3. God, I miss it. PlayStation Network was free before they started scamming us. Then I moved over to an Xbox One, and I sort of stayed there the entire time. And because of that, I never got a chance to play the beautiful PlayStation exclusives that Xbox never got. We got Forza Horizon, and you guys got Spider-Man. You got The Last of Us. You got God of War. Shit wasn't fair, bro. But in the last year, maybe in the last 6 months or so, I built my own PC, and then it was a perfect time to start playing all the games I missed out on my childhood, starting out with The Last of Us 1 and The Last of Us 2. These games have been glazed to oblivion, and I really knew nothing about them going in. I knew there was a series based on it, I knew they were loved. Well, at least the first one was loved. And I just knew that they were meant to be great. So the excitement that I had going into playing these games was at an all-time high. And this video is going to be mainly focused on The Last of Us 2. As we get further into the video, you're going to understand why. But quickly, The Last of Us 1, absolute masterpiece of a game. Way better than I was expecting it to be, even though it was glazed. Probably now in my top 3 games of all time. Yes, I'm glazing. Maybe I'm getting hit by recency bias because I literally played it like 2 to 3 weeks ago, maybe, but I don't care. Unbelievable game. Joel, Ellie, love them both. Was a bit shorter than I was expecting. I think I finished it in about 15 hours, which I hope isn't a speed run, but a bit shorter of a game than I was expecting, but a masterpiece. And since it is shorter, there's no filler. It's just great. Probably, I was gonna say probably the best zombie game or infected game of all time, but The Walking Dead walks into the room, so and I have crazy nostalgia bias for those games, so I can't give it to you. Okay, now as I was playing through The Last of Us 1, I do stream this at Forals007 on Twitch. Shameless plug, I had to do it. As I was playing the first game, a lot of people were entering in my chat and saying, "Oh, I love this game." And then I'd say to them, "Oh, well, after I play this game, we're moving on to the second one. Is it good?" And this was like the weirdest reactions that I got from my chat. Some people were saying, "Yes, it's the best game of all time. Like, you will play nothing better in your life. It's better than the first game." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, hold your horses. We're getting way ahead of ourselves." Then other people would jump in and say, "This is the worst piece of shit follow up to a game ever. I hate it." There was like no middle ground. It was either it was your favorite thing ever or you thought it was absolute dog shit. So that intrigued me even more. I finished The Last of Us 1, bought The Last of Us 2 and played it and streamed it the day after, and I loved the game. I literally think I finished it not yesterday, but the day before, and I think it is an absolute masterpiece, right? So that, let me just, for people that have never played the game before and are watching this video, first of all, why? A, I'll take the view, but major spoiler warning for The Last of Us 2. I don't think I spoiled anything in The Last of Us 1, thankfully, but major spoiler warning for The Last of Us 2. So, the first couple of hours in the game, in my first stream of the game, Joel obviously gets murked by Rory McIlroy, no, by Abby. Golf club to the face. That is something that I was not expecting coming into this game. I somehow avoided no spoilers over the last however many couple of years. So, I had no idea that was going to happen. It was vicious, it was nasty. I literally ended stream after because I was like, whoa, I was not ready for that. And for people that haven't played the game, it's sort of split up as you're playing as two characters. You're playing as Ellie, who everyone knows from the first game, as you're playing as Abby. So it's sort of split between the two. So when Joel died at the hands of Abby, my chat was saying, "Yo, trust me, she's gonna get a redemption arc. Trust me, you're gonna like her." And I was literally saying to my chat, there is no possible way you can convince me that I'm going to like her. I absolutely despise her for what she did to Joel. I just couldn't get my head around the thought of this is somehow going to get, redeemed, fixed. I was just like, I hate her guts. I hope she dies now at the hands of Ellie. But I was so wrong. Obviously, the way it's structured is you play as Ellie for 3 days, trying to get to Abby and get her revenge for what she did to Joel. And then once you get to the end of those 3 days as Ellie, you get to the theater, you confront Abby, then it swaps to Abby. You're playing as those 3 days leading up to that moment now. I was kind of conflicted when I was playing it because I was like, I was playing as Ellie and I was like, if I get to this third day, we finally get Abby that we've been building up to for however many hours. And then we just get stuck to the back of Abby and we've got to play through those three. Because at that point I hated her. I was like, I don't want to play as the person who's killed Joel for 3 days to then meet Ellie for then to go off. I was like, do I really want to do that? But to be honest, once I played as Abby, I really, really did start to like her. First of all, I do think the gameplay was better as Abby. One, she can actually melee people, doesn't just get strangled to death the first person she tries to punch. Because Abby is absolutely jacked out of her mind. I need to know what she hits for triceps, dead ass. The guns were nice. She has a nice little AR, which Ellie never really got. There was a couple of boss fights. Obviously, the Rat King, the two brutes that you sort of had to learn their combat moves, which I found really, really fun. And I just thought the stuff with the scars, Levi and Yower were really, really interesting. So I did prefer Abby's gameplay and story a lot more than Ellie's. Well, I wouldn't say a lot more, but I still prefer Ellie as a character. Now, I only complain about this like 3-day structure. Is the problem is, you kill Mel and Owen and the dog in the first 3 days as Ellie. So when I'm with Mel and Owen and the dog in the second 3 days, or the first 3 days, should I say? Sorry if this is getting confusing. As Abby, I'm like, I'm not really getting attached to these characters at all. I'm not wondering if they're alive, if they're dead, what they're doing, because inevitably I know that they are going to die at the hands of Ellie. So it just kind of like made it not pointless, but it just, I wish there was a way that they could have done it where I wouldn't know that was happening. Now, I say that I think there is a chronological mode, but again, that probably would have made things even more awkward and confusing. But in a perfect world, I could have went into that not knowing what happened to them because it doesn't hit as hard because I already know what happened. You know what I mean? Another complaint I have, there's a lot of character death and a lot of characters. When Tommy died, I was like, oh my god, they need to chill with the killing. They'd killed Jesse at that point, they'd killed Isaac, Mel, Owen, the dog, Yara, and I was just like, Manny, I was just like, we just need to chill. We're killing too many people to the point that we're not even really getting the chance to connect with the characters. I still am, but not to the degree I wanted to. Yara and Levi, I loved. I thought the story with the scars and the wolves was really interesting once I actually started paying attention to the lore and understanding it. The game looks absolutely unbelievable. I did play the remastered version on PC on Steam, so I assume that gave a boost to the graphics, but the game looks great. And I thought the gameplay improvements from the second game compared to the first game, you can, dodge, you can prone, you can jump, that sort of stuff. Obviously, the other stuff like the actual gunfights are pretty similar, but I still had a great time with it. Now, that's my main issues, not my main issues, but an issues I had was in the last stream of the game. So you get to the end of day 3 as Abby. You see how it plays out. You see Abby finding Mel and Owen, and then you confront Ellie, and everything sort of comes to a head. Obviously Tommy gets shot in the head. I was crashing out at that point, but we'll get back to that after. Then, when you're fighting Ellie as Abby, it just feels wrong. Even though she's went on this whole redemption arc with, Joel actually killed her father in the hospital. Like, I love that perspective, but not enough to want to throttle Ellie with my bare hands. It just felt wrong. The game was telling me to press X, and I was like, I just don't want to press X. Like, I love Ellie. I don't want this to happen. I wish there was a way in that last section when Ellie's got the bow and you're trying to catch up and sneak on her that you could like sort of play as both. Let's say you play the first bit as Abby. Once that cutscene plays out, then you play as Ellie. And then you swap back. Maybe that's a wee bit too like on the nose with the whole perspective thing. But I just think it would have made it less like stakes. Like I don't want to kill Ellie like at all. So making me do that to Ellie, the person who I played with in the first game, the start of the second game, it just didn't feel right at all, man. And I was just like, I don't want to do this. Yeah, a couple of times I died as Abby against Ellie, and I can't say I was too mad about it, to be completely honest. I wish there was a way they could split those. Obviously, that's not probably the most realistic thing ever. But yeah. Another complaint I had is infected slash zombies. People probably get annoyed if I say infected, but there wasn't enough infected in the back end of the game. I feel like this is an infected story. Obviously, characters, human beings come into that a lot, but I just wish that there was more to do with the infected in the last section of the game, because I feel like that's what the whole game was built on. The first couple minutes of the first game, everything's going to shit because of the infection. You're trying to work out, what is this? Is this a virus? What's up with the, can we find a cure to it? And then, yeah, that doesn't really come into play as much. You see some chained up infected in the I don't even know what you call that last group, but in their sort of base. But that's really it, man. And there wasn't enough for me. I think it would have been nice to be like mixed in somehow. I don't know how they would have done it. I'm not a writer, okay? I don't make up the lore, but I just think it would have made the game better. Next thing. So once Abby and Ellie go their separate ways, Abby spares Ellie and Dina because she says she's pregnant. We kind of did the pregnant gimmick a few too many times, but it's fine. We're back in our home. We get the reveal that Tommy somehow survived. I swear to God, a point blank headshot. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it actually grazed off his head. I could have sworn he got shot in the head after he took an arrow to the knee. Jon Snow reference. Is that even a Jon Snow reference? Anyway, I was thinking of the Sky Does Minecraft song. But yeah, first of all, how is Tommy alive? And second of all, when I was in that situation with my kid, which I don't know the name of, I wish that we, well, not I wish, but if I was Ellie, I would have just stayed there. I would have just stayed there. I feel like Abby spared us. We killed Mel and Owen and the dog. She killed, Jesse, who we thought Tommy at a certain point, but then we realized not Tommy. I was just like, can we just live our life on the farm? The farm looked picturesque as fuck, bro. I was with Dina. I was with Tommy. Obviously, Tommy was crashing out. He wants revenge for Joel. I understand that more. But, like, could we not just leave it and not go? And then obviously she makes the decision to go. And you see what happens with Abby and Levi. Of course, Yara sadly died at the hands of Isaac and co. R.I.P. But first of all, it's kind of mad that if Ellie didn't go to kill Abby, then Abby would have died. Which is kind of interesting. I like that. But yeah, she goes there, she rescues her from the group, and then they have this sort of last battle at the end of it, which one I didn't think was gonna happen. Like when when she like cut her down from the post and she went out to the boat, I was like, right, bet, we're done. We saw her, like, we've seen what's happened to her, let's just leave her, Ellie, and go. Of course, Ellie starts rage baiting Abby, and Abby's like, fuck it. Well, more because Ellie threatens to, slice the throat of Levi if she doesn't fight her to the death. They then have this cool ass fight, don't get me wrong, with probably a few too many stab wounds in the water by the boat, which I realize is the loading screen of the game. Fuck, it looks good. Yeah, Ellie eventually gets the upper hand over Abby. That's because Abby's not in her prime, by the way. But anyway, she then proceeds to start drowning her for a long, long time. And at this point, I was begging to my chat. I was going, there's two ways this can go. Okay, Ellie can drown Abby. She's dead. It's done for. Game's done. Or Ellie could let her live. And I was praying that they would stick the landing on this and that they would let Abby live. Because I felt if they went through all of this to then just have Abby kill Ellie, it would defeat the point of the whole perspective thing. What's the point of this whole thing? Me trying to understand Abby, where she comes from, why she did what she did. But there's not really a villain in this game. There's a lot of grey area. I do think Abby's probably a slightly worse person than Ellie, but from both their perspectives, that you can understand it, and especially from Abby's. I think I'll speak about it after, but I was just hoping that she kept her alive. Obviously, she did. She kept her alive. Her and Yara take the boat. Not Yara. Yara's dead. R.I.P. Keeps saying Yara. Her and Levi leave, go wherever, and then Ellie returns home and has been left by her wife-ish and kid. Bit of a brutal ending, but I liked it a lot. I'm glad they stuck to it. If they killed her and she came, I don't even know what could have happened after she killed her, but if she came home while Dana was like, I would have crashed out. I would have crashed out. I think like they would have ruined it for me. But what I like to do after I finish a game, as soon as I finish a game, the first thing I do, look up a review, watch a video. Moist Critical, watch the video. It was, don't get me wrong, when the game first came out, I was like, okay, people had mixed reactions to this game in my chat before I even played it, and even when I was playing. Let's see what the people online, the experts, Penguins, has to say. Moist Meter, he absolutely shitted on the game. And I was just sat there like, did I miss something? Has the opinions changed since? He was just saying, oh, like it's just a revenge story. The character writing's ass. You don't get to know the characters nearly enough. They're just killing people. He's saying the story is so much worse than it was in the first game, and he isn't like, ah, I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. I thought, okay, maybe that's an outlier. Let me go to Jeremy Jans. Didn't even know he did game reviews. Goat, by the way. He's also like 45. How's that even possible? He looks like he's 20. He looks like he's younger than me. He also shits on the game. Well, I give it like a 5, I think, or maybe less than that. But he was like, yeah, like playing as Abby, like I just wanted Ellie to kill me, and I was like, am I missing something? Like the whole point is, as Abby, you watch your dad die at the hands of Joel, right? Joel went into that Firefly base to save Ellie because he knew that she was going to die during the surgery to potentially find the cure. But first of all, my opinions are she should probably die. As much as I love Ellie, it's probably a hot take. If there's a chance that they can cure this thing, then it's probably worth sacrificing the life of one person. Am I wrong? Even if it doesn't work, but the chance there is for it to work, obviously I also wanted Joel to do what he did. Like when I was playing the first game, I was like, Joel, I hope you go in there and just murk everybody. But after I was like, I kind of understand it, like why you wouldn't want that to happen. Joel goes in, kills so many people. One of those is Abby's dad. From Abby's perspective, not only has her dad died, the also only chance of the cure that we know of has also it's also gone basically. Yeah. Yeah, I'd understand why Abby would be pissed and want to kill Joel. Yes, I love Joel. Yes, I love the first game, but you can't just like disregard those facts completely. Like, there's no real villain here. Nobody's really in the wrong. Obviously, maybe a golf club to the head's a wee bit extreme, but like Joel went in there and just murked everybody. Like he had to face consequences for what he did at the Firefly place, and that's what happened. So that's why when I'm playing as Abby, I'm like, okay, right, I actually get why this happened. Although her getting cracked by Owen. 1, I had to hide screen on stream. Fuck you. 2, that brought you down in my power rankings. Mel did not deserve that shit. Like, don't get me wrong, I do think the second game is slightly worse than the first game, but we are splitting hairs here. I'm talking the first game I probably got like a 9.5, could change. Second game I've got a 9. We're not talking a big discrepancy here. I think 2 has clear positives. The gameplay, the graphics obviously, but that's kind of harsh on the first game. I like the perspectives, I like the character shifts. First game, tighter story, shorter in length, which is good because it means there's no filler. The character development's a lot better, the story hits a lot deeper. But can we not just appreciate both? Well, it's mixed opinions. I can't believe some people hate on this second game so much. Some people love it. Good, you've got the right opinion. I don't care. It's the right opinion. Fuck everybody else's. But yeah, I loved both those games. I thought they were both great. PlayStation exclusive. I missed out when I was younger, but I still got to enjoy it with no spoilers, thankfully. And yeah, if you played The Last of Us 2 when it first came out and you hated it because it wasn't what you thought it was going to be, replay it. I promise you're going to love it. I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. At least the people that I've seen, the reputable people who make reviews. And yeah, I love the game. I'm so glad I played it. And that'll do, dude. Peace.